Okay, it's July 2020 here in Flat Rock on the island of Newfoundland, on the east coast of the island of Newfoundland, about a kilometer from the North Atlantic Ocean. It's about 18 degrees Celsius. It's about 5:45 in the evening, and this bee that's right in front of my camera is a very defensive bee, and I know it's coming from that hive. I'm just going to chill and hopefully it won't do anything untoward toward me. And man, is it not happy though. I'm glad I got a veil on. Anywho, yeah, I thought I would just do a little update about where I am with my beekeeping in this particular bee yard. I have two more hives at another location that are doing pretty good. One of the queens out there is in great shape, so I'm going to replace them. This colony here doesn't have the greatest queen either. Every time I've checked, it seems to be in okay shape, but really not as much brood as I expect. So she's got to go, or probably going to go. And man, this bee is really not happy. But anyhow, let's just continue with this little update. So this hive over here this is the big one. We're halfway through July, and I just keep adding boxes to this. One box, at least one box every week for the past 3 weeks. It's the only colony that I have that is using the bottom entrance of the hive. All the other ones are just favoring the top entrances, or they're favoring these holes that I've drilled in all the supers. I take that to mean when they're down the bottom like that there is brood down there, and they're working with the brood chamber, regulating the brood and all that fun stuff. So the queen is laying down there is basically how I see that. I haven't checked on that hive for a while because I'm taking a sort of a hands-off approach. Not hands-off, but a non-heavy lifting approach to my beekeeping this summer, because I was in a car accident a few years ago that left me with a funky neck, and it's easy to sort of sprain my neck when I'm doing this kind of thing. So I've switched to I'm switching to mostly mediums for everything now, and by next year I think it'll be completely mediums. I've got a few deeps on that one, and a couple out on the farm, but by next year they're going to be gone. And I'm also painting my hives black. That's another thing that I won't get into, but basically I don't like wrapping my hives in the wintertime, so I'm just painting them black, and that's it. And shoveling snow, burying them in snow whenever we have enough snow to bury them in. And it's working out okay. This is the first time, or the first summer, that I've had in this particular location here in Flat Rock where my bees have done as well as I had my... Oh man, this bee is just coming. It's funny, it's just one bee. Man. Anyhow, yeah, anyway, the bees in this location are now doing better than they ever have, basically. And I'm glad I've got my veil on, because this bee is just one unhappy bee. But let's just talk about bees here. What I've got going here. This colony is, as far as I can tell, they're doing well, but they've never used the bottom entrance. And the last time I checked, they're actually that bottom medium is full of honey, full of capped honey. So it's kind of weird, but it looks like the honey is down below and the brood is up top, and they're working their way up, and it's just backwards to what I normally find in a colony. And the queen isn't laying as much as she should. But anyway, they're not swarming, and they're doing their thing, so good enough. This one, this is the big one. I expect by the end of the summer, if this continues like this hive is going to be taller than me, and I'm almost 6 feet tall, so that's impressive, especially for this cold location that I keep these bees in. This colony is in pretty good shape. Again, I haven't checked on this one or that one. Well, actually, I haven't checked this one, that one, or that one for a while, because I just don't want to dig into the hives and do a lot of lifting. So I'm trying to avoid that, but I think I need to check on this one, and I need to check on that one, because I did have one colony that was very much set up like this colony. It was right next to this one, and I found swarm cells, and it was just days away from swarming, and I had to tear it apart And the bees are extremely docile. It was really nice dealing with a colony that's about to swarm. But and it was like 30-degree heat that day, and I was sweating like a dog's nose. And man, this bee is just not leaving me alone. And I panicked, and I ended up splitting it into 3 pieces. I left, there's one piece there, there's one piece there, there's one piece there. That's the piece that has the original queen. This is one that I combined with another small colony that didn't have a strong queen coming out of winter, but it's doing really well now. And this is the section that didn't have the queen, didn't have any swarm cells, didn't have anything. Well, it did have swarm cells, but anyway, what they ended up doing was creating supersedure cells. And I won't get into why that happened, that's just a big mess. And this colony up here is doing really well too. For some reason, the hives that I put under this tree, which is, you think under a tree is not good, it's in the shade for quite a bit of the day. It's not in the ideal place. It gets sunlight around 10 o'clock, and then it doesn't get consistent sunlight, but every colony that I've had in this location has done better than all my other colonies. I don't know why. And this colony, though, it's interesting. They've got this bottom entrance, and they had the normal hive configuration, and I also had a medium on this hive. I think it was this medium here with a hole in it on the side. And then one day, early in the spring, I just pulled the cork out of it just to give them some extra ventilation or whatever, and they totally favored that side of the hive for coming and going, for that entrance. And now they only use that side for entrances. So I've got holes drilled in each one of these mediums, except that one, and I've got a weird entrance up top, and this here up top is more or less just a ventilation rim. They're totally using this side of the hive. And as far as I can tell, though, it's not making any difference to how they're working the frames. They will start working them here, but once they get going, they just move on over, and it's no real difference. It's just interesting. But yeah, they're doing pretty good. In fact, they're doing so well that they got away from me a little while ago. I used to have a 2-inch rim right here on top. It sort of acts like a slatted rack, if you know what a slatted rack is, but it's the opposite of a slatted rack. It's up top instead of on bottom, but it seems to have the same effect. And man, this bee is just not going away. There it goes. Anyhow, yeah, this colony is it's doing really well. They built, what I was going to say before that bee came after me again, is they built some comb above the top bars under that rim, and it was a nice, beautiful white comb, and it had eggs in it. And it was too bad that I screwed it up. But anyway, they're off to the races. They're doing everything that they should be doing. They want to build comb. They got that nice yellow, not yellow, but the nice white comb that I believe is an indication of young bees. The younger bees, apparently they build more white comb than regular bees, but I don't know. That's just something I heard. Anyhow, they're looking great. They're beautiful. Hopefully they're not swarming either. Again, I haven't dug deep into this colony for a while, like most of my colonies. So we'll just have to hope for the best, because I'm gauging a lot of my beekeeping this summer by just what I see on the outside. And even this colony that swarmed on me, I was concerned that it was going to swarm, and I knew I'd left it. And against my better judgment, I left it alone, and then I checked it, and then boom, swarm cells all over the place. So, I'm getting much better at reading the bees from the outside than I used to. I don't believe in the whole thing of let the bees be bees and let them swarm and do all their things and all that stuff. That's just sort of bad beekeeping. But I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at knowing when I can just leave the bees to themselves and let them go nuts and do their thing. So anyway, that's good news. This here is a crazy setup, and there you go. Here's this bee again. If I get stung, this video's over. But anyhow, yeah, this is a big mess. This is a medium down there, a deep. The medium has about 5 frames, and then a deep has like 4 frames, and then there's a upside down double nuke on top of that, and it's probably a big friggin' mess in there. I was just in a sort of panic mode, and I just had to throw something together just to keep those bees contained, and they seem fine now, but except there's one bee that is not happy with me. So well, now I got two of them, and I guarantee they're from that colony. Anyhow, this colony was so hot today. It's using the bottom entrance, and it's the only colony that I have using the bottom entrance, that I added another super. I was going to add it to this one, but then I saw these guys and I said, man, they look like they need it, so I gave it to them. And I cracked open the top of the hive a little bit just to give them some extra ventilation. And I'll just close that up before I go to bed. But anyhow, it looks a bit, and this is the just leftover junk that I'm a very disorganized beekeeper. I just leave everything where I left it, kind of thing. But that's from the original hive that was swarming, and I just left it all there. Anyhow, right now the bees are doing better than they have this location ever. It's probably because even though we had a cold spring, we had a very hot, humid month of June for at least 2 or 3 weeks, which really seemed to put the bees into honey making mode and swarmy mode. But anyway, it's looking good. The other two colonies that I have in another location, they're more or less like this. One is a little bit stronger than this one, but they're doing well. They get sunlight all day long, unlike these hives. And yeah, and this would have been a much more relaxed little update if I didn't have this friggin' bee, you know, buzzing around me like a wasp. And you can tell when they're defensive. They don't fly like regular bees. Like these bees are just sort of la da 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 da. They're doing their thing, but the ones that are defensive, they start flying at you like a wasp, zigzagging all around. Anyhow, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 really solid colonies as far as I can tell. Then I got this mess of a swarm split into 3 pieces and things, and then I got 2 hives out on another location. And this is probably right now the best summer of beekeeping that I've had for quite some years, actually, because I've had a few bumps in the road, but this is looking great. However, I'll say this, that I do not want to go more than this. This is enough for me. Even this colony, this swarm colony that I panicked with and split into 3 pieces, I may have even killed the queen, who knows. I may have lost that colony. That's fine with me. I'm really okay with just having what I've got now, no more than what I have now, because it's so easy. Once they get into swarm mode and you've got like 5 or 6 colonies that are in swarm mode and you got to be on top of them every week, it's really time consuming, and it can be exhausting at times, and especially just for one person. If you're just doing it by yourself, it's a challenge. But yeah, I like where it is right now, and it's looking pretty good. And at this rate, this colony is, I mean, I would say that the brood nest is here, maybe up to here. So I've got 1, 2, 3 mediums that are looking like they're going to get filled, and that's probably going to get taller than me by the end of the summer. So that's interesting. The other thing about this colony too, it's got 9 frames instead of 10. And I've done that I tried that with most of my hives this summer, because I saw a guy in Manitoba who does that, and he says it's just easier to pull frames out without rolling the bees and with squishing bees, and it's great. But they also some of the colonies anyway, can build a lot of burr comb on the edge of that frame, because there's so much space between the edge frames and the side of the super. And that hive up there was doing that big time, and I just had to completely rearrange it and put 10 frames in there in each box. And man, this bee's back again. But this one, it seems to be stronger than all the rest, and it's got these giant gaps on the side of the frames, on the edges of the boxes, when you can see right down to the bottom of the hive, which is kind of cool. So it provides a lot of, it will give the bees room to relieve congestion. It'll provide some extra ventilation, and they're not filling it up with comb for whatever reason. So that's great. I expect that if we continue to have this kind of warm weather, I'm going to have more honey off of these hives than I have ever have gotten off of any of my colonies before. It's really it's impressive. And this one is going to be like 100 pounds or more. It's definitely heading in that direction. But you never know, right? We'll see what happens. The queen could slow down, or the weather could turn to garbage. This is Newfoundland. You could get all of August could just turn into rain, drizzle, and fog. So we'll see. I like it, and I'll take it. It's pretty good.